I'm sorry to say this, but I had a zombie dream slash nightmare like a day or two ago. I am talking about this because I'm forgetting it, and I probably have forgotten quite a bit of it already because I have not felt very comfortable talking about certain things. But I should say I was not watching any zombie movies. I don't really have much of an I don't have a I don't have much of an interest in zombie movies. I haven't been watching any videos related to well, before I had the dream slash nightmare, I had not been listening to any videos or any posts about zombies, and zombies were not on my mind at all before I had the dream. So they were nowhere um, in my thoughts beforehand. I had heard people say they had had zombie dreams, but see the way my mind works and the way I work, I don't like just jumping on top of uh, people's uh, suspicions and paranoias and superstitions or whatever, or facts for that matter. But if I need to hear quite a bit before I just start entertaining ideas. So I'm saying all this beforehand to say, like I don't keep this type of stuff in my mind like that. There are so many other issues that are at the forefront of my mind, and it's not zombies, or it has not been zombies. But about a night or two ago, and I'll try to remember as much as I can, which is not a lot. I just remember, all I can tell you is that I was somewhere, and uh, people were, um, I think I was attacked by uh, a zombie. Like, not attacked, like struck, but like they're just trying to grab me, and I felt like they had a whole lot of strength. Like these were not not your slow, um, weak, or just slow, um, unfocused or light focused, lightly focused zombies walking slow with their hands out. Like like if you had a basketball, you could do crossovers around all of them. Like you wouldn't even have to run away because they're just that slow. You just have to be coordinated. No, these were something different. These were They were like people, but they were just, all I can tell you is that when I woke up from the dream, I'm telling you all I can, because I almost forgot about it. I put it out of my mind. I just remembered it for some reason. I hadn't thought about this in, I don't know, probably like 16 hours or so. But it just popped up in my mind for some reason. But only thing I can what I can tell you is I remember when I woke up how I felt, and I felt like they were zombies, or they were some type of, or they were zombie-like as far as their consciousness is concerned, as far as their mental states are concerned. Like they weren't all there, and they were strong, and reasonably strong is what I mean. I don't mean like superhuman or anything, but just they were. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I was grabbed in the dream, and I felt like this thing was like very strong. I don't remember faces or anything like that, but all I can tell you is that I'm telling you this dream because when I dream, um, sometimes it's the future. It is the exact future. Sometimes it's a warning, and sometimes it's the exact future. And sometimes it's just a dream. It's just a reflection of maybe things that are on my mind as far as how I feel, and like my mind and my consciousness or my spirit maybe trying to work something out. So of course I hope that's what this is, but I'm telling you people, I'll say this: it would not be far-fetched for people to start turning into zombies at all. I don't believe it would be far-fetched at all. For one, our culture, American culture especially, seems to have fascination with zombies. A strong fascination with zombies. And usually a lot of times there's truth, or there's a little bit of truth behind our fascinations, as far as that these things either exist, or these things are a part of the fantasies of certain people, and this is what they would like. From what I understand, zombies or zombified people, I mean, I'll just say this much: you have a lot of people out in this world who are very, very unfeeling and uncaring, and they will, in certain countries, in particular, I don't know if I should say certain countries, but I'm pretty sure Haiti, like developed, or some people over there at some point. I don't know if it's any parts of Africa or anything like that. I have no idea. I'm more. I just remember what I read about Haiti as far as, or some types of people in Haiti. I'm not saying it's the whole culture, anything like that, but there exists a culture over there where people, um, where it's like a desired thing to make a person into a zombie, or to make a person zombie-like. Not zombie-like as far as like a ghoul, like some horrible looking ghoul, like from a lot of the movies where as soon as you see them you start running, you start screaming. But a zombie as far as a person who is just conscious enough to follow orders and allow you to do whatever you want to them. They actually developed a system for creating. Some people over there actually developed a system or methods to make people like this. I won't go into the details, but I remember reading the details, and I'm like, well, that sounds like that might do it. So I'm saying this to say this is what's in the heart of man. Certain things are in the hearts of individuals, and there's individuals out here who are, I mean, they get off on power. I'm not saying that. I mean, I'll phrase it this way. They get off on having as much power as they can, and they don't care who they hurt, or they don't care who gets hurt in the process. They don't care. So this type of personality exists in many societies. So just because they may have developed a method for it in Haiti that is known, it does not mean they aren't doing this all over the globe. For example, the MK Ultra experiments, some of that stuff, which I won't go too deeply into, but those experiments are at the very least proof of how far people are willing to go to control another. Like that's how. So if you're out here, if you're reasonably decent people out here are blindsided, because you see people walking down the street and you assume that these people are regular, decent people just like you, with a similar heart like you. Decent people think that, or I think maybe our society has groomed a lot of people, or our societies tend to sometimes maybe also groom people to believing that there isn't as much evil out there as there is, or there isn't as much cruelty and deception and corruption out there as there is. So that's a part of it, but also a part of it is when you're a good person, an overall decent person, maybe not an angel, but you're overall decent. We sometimes think or feel like because it's so easy and second nature for us to be reasonably decent. We expect or assume that other people, or we did assume that other people must also feel like we do, or at least not too far away from us, because it comes so easy and natural to be overall decent. Like just not to be out here just hurting people or trying to scheme on people or trying to be deceptive and corruptive. That's not so much in uh, our thought process. So we assume that it must not be, or we did assume that it must not be in other people's thought process. So I'm telling you, I'll give you an example of how easy it is. I mean, we know that rabies exists, right? And we know what rabies does to animals, or some of us do. Rabies, from what I understand, it's it does something to the brain or the body which causes so much pain and rage, which causes so much pain that whoever, like, as far as animals concerned, I don't know if humans would be similarly affected, but as far as uh, rabies is concerned, the animals are in so much pain and rage that when they encounter strangers, it's like they're just in fight mode. From what I understand, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I overall got it. So that's why they bite people, because, according to what I read, it's because they're in so much pain. Like there's so much chaos going on within them that when they see something outside of them, and they're also an animal, they do what animals do. They fight and they attack because they actually are under attack from that virus. They don't know they don't know what's going on. All they know is they're in pain and they're being attacked. So imagine. Well, okay, I don't want to even spell it out. I don't like speaking evil or speaking. Um, I don't like speaking. Like, I don't want to contribute to destructive creativity or harmful creativity. But I'm just saying, based on what I know about the hearts of certain individuals, I mean, you have people out here making poisons and toxins and all types of biological warfare all over the world. They're steadily figuring out, I mean, they're deliberately figuring out ways to make people suffer. Like, this is their full-time gig. It's their full-time job in some cases, figuring out how they can best make people suffer. And usually what people do is um, how it works is they take stuff that, they take known diseases that they have access to, and they do things with them to see if that, try to create an antidote or try to create uh, an amplified version. This is the type of stuff people are doing. And as far as I'm concerned, it wouldn't take much to I don't think it would really take. I mean, I think they probably knew how to do this stuff a long time ago. Like, probably like 40, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, I believe. I mean, because this is the nature of people. So, I mean, think about, give you another example, and I'll leave it alone. I'll try to leave it alone. Think about some of these substances that they're putting out here. How you look at places like Philadelphia and Los Angeles. These are examples of, aren't they already making people into zombies in that way, as far as with some of these drugs, as far as meth is concerned, or what they're calling meth, or what the combination of meth and combination of whatever drugs people on meth, as well as what else is that thing that's killing everybody? Um, you know what I'm talking about. It's supposed to be like 20 times stronger than heroin. Oh, fentanyl. Um, I mean, look what it's doing to people. I mean, these people are turning into straight up zombies as far as their characteristics at times. Maybe not 8 hours or 15 hours throughout the day, but there are minutes or even hours where you look at them and their behavior, and this looks like something they behave like stereotypical zombies, minus the like the brain eating and sticking both their hands and arms out in the air, stereotypically. So imagine, and that's what we're anyway. Okay, that's one example. Another example is, think about that some of these crazy drugs, like these bath salts, the stories that we have heard of these bath salts, where the things you've seen, where people have taken bath salts, like in one place, I guess in Florida, where this guy takes some bath salts and starts, uh, and I think kills a man, or assaults a man, and starts eating a man's face in broad daylight while he's butt naked. I mean, that's zombie stuff. I mean, that's your zombie right there. He was temporarily, at the very least, a zombie, an attacking zombie doing like a stereotypical zombie thing. And that's just from bath salts. That's not even, we're not even talking about like what some, uh, I mean, that's related to like spirits and all types of stuff. Don't get me started on that. Who knows? I suspect that this guy got so loaded that he left the door wide open for something to jump in and have a field day. I mean, because I mean that to me is probably one of the best explanations, because I just don't see anybody. I mean, unless this person had fantasized about butt naked face eating in public and then got loaded. Um, I don't know what other option occurred or happened. So anyway, I don't remember any in my dream. I don't remember any like crazy zombie sounds. I probably would have if I had just went. I wanted to. A part of me wanted to record this dream when I like right after it happened, but a part of me just kind of didn't even want to Sometimes I guess we get spiritually lazy, and maybe we feel like we're overtaxed. I just didn't do it, but I forgot about it, and then it just occurred in my mind for some reason. It just kind of popped up. I don't remember what triggered me to remember the memory, but this caused me to feel like I needed to talk about it. So, okay, what can we do about zombies if that is a possibility? Uh, yeah, it's a good question. What can you do? As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I think you just do what I think you probably just prepare for them the same way you might prepare for civil unrest, amplified. But, you know, anyway, and as well as, um, and this is something I have to keep talking about, we have to keep our spirit and our mood at peace. It's very important because stress, based on all of my reading, it creates so many problems in the body, and it creates a lot of illnesses. So the opposite of stress, in my opinion, contributes to the opposite. And I don't think I've heard anybody phrase it like that before, so I decided to phrase it like that. If stress contributes all types of illnesses and problems in the body, like that's been documented by doctors, so many different doctors, that stress can kill you and cause all types of harm. Isn't it possible that a person can have such a deep level of peace that their illnesses get cured, or that or that illnesses are prevented from happening because that being's emotions and mental state are creating an environment inside their body which is physiologically yeah, I probably shouldn't have said physiologically. I was trying to sound smart. I can't think of I'll just say that the I guess I was going to say create create an environment in the body where they physiologically are like they're protected, or there's like there's a there's see, yeah, I shouldn't even use that word. I just wanted to use that word. But I think you know what I mean. That these emotions can somehow contribute to an environment within the body which is pro health and pro strength and anti illness and you get what I mean. So I have a suspicion that it's a possibility that that's connected to how some people, I guess, get healed according to like faith healing. Like they, for however brief they went through a particular thing or a particular strong faith where they believed that it just created conditions within their body that just got rid of the illnesses. I think it's a possibility. There are a lot of things that cannot just be explained by science. I think many of us have heard stories where, like one person, like a person has a spouse, and that person passed away. Then that person seems to pass away soon after, almost like they, not so much that they willed themselves to die, but it's like they just didn't, because they did not want to live, they didn't. Or because it was felt like they did not want to live, they didn't. So, the last thing I think I'll say is, and again, this is very important, it's with all these things going on, we must find healthy ways to keep peace within our hearts and our minds. We must figure out, we must consciously try to keep our I was going to say our mental and our emotional slates clean, but I think it kind of goes beyond that. That's a start. I guess you could say the start would be trying to clean the slate, and then I guess the end, in my opinion, which a lot of you may not understand this, some of you will. I guess I believe the end is to where you make it to where there is no slate to clean. And in my opinion, this goes back to, now I can get biblical as far as I believe this touches on the principle of Jesus talking about, if you lose yourself, you will find it. Meaning, in my opinion, that to me contributes to, or that to me is similar to the principles of no self in Zen Buddhism. Like there being no permanent self or no permanency. So let's say, for example, if you were, we can be the people that we are now, but we're so many different types of people. We are the person we were when we were 5 can be or seem very different than the person we are when we are 15, and very different from the person we are when we are 30. Very different from the person we are when we are 50. Now imagine also if a person was moving at a different rate of speed as it relates to developing consciousness, where they weren't even bound by, or they were trying to move beyond the boundaries of maturity as we know it, where they were trying to become something else. Like they were truly trying. This is what I believe many of the people who were considered to be gurus and masters did, or the path that they took. Which reminds me of, I guess, I think it's Matthew 16:33, that I think I talked about it before, where Jesus says something related to being of good cheer because I have overcome the world. Pretty much saying, in my opinion, I take that to mean since Jesus overcame the world, we can too. That's the way I take that. Some people may take that as Jesus was saying that he overcame the world and he has us covered. I would like to believe that. I have no problem with that either. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I'm not against that at all. If there are any decent entities that want to protect me or have my back, I'm not going to fight against that. But a practical way to use that verse now for the individual who maybe does not have as much faith or understanding in the specifics of Jesus's plans. I feel like going that path, trying to overcome the world, trying to become like a Jesus, is not a bad thing. I think Jesus would want that. And again, I think I said this before. I'm not talking about people out here trying to tell people that they're gods or that I'm God. I'm the God. I'm Jesus. I'm the Messiah. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about valuing the same or similar principles that Jesus did. Since you claim to love Jesus so much, if you claim to love Jesus so much, people should see that in your actions and in your behavior, not just occasionally when you're yelling at people about believing in Jesus or else. They should just see. I think it's best and most effective for people to just see a beautiful being or just beautiful beings out here doing beautiful things because they're living their truth. They're not just talking, they're walking. Or their talk is also in proportion to their walk.